I attended Keene State College in the late 1970s, early 1980s, and I worked at the student newspaper every semester I was there. I was a journalism major, and I was the executive editor of the paper my last year there. And we had heard various women's groups on campus were claiming that there had been rapes on campus, but it hadn't been reported because it took place on college property. College security had investigated it. It had never been reported to the Keene City Police. And we were trying to get at that, but they wouldn't give us their police logs, even though the city police logs were public record in New Hampshire. I went in pro se initially without an attorney, and I filed this complaint. Well, then the college got very nervous because they were afraid of how permissive the ruling was going to be and what they were going to have to release. And they were just sort of saying, well, under the Buckley Amendment, it's federal law at the time, we can't release anything, right? So a compromise out of court was fashioned where they would give us the police logs every week with names redacted, which we accepted that compromise. But that whole episode, when I went to apply for a job, I thought, oh, I've got this great thing on my resume. Well, one of the publishers at the Narragansett Times was so disturbed by the fact that I had sued the college, they almost didn't hire me because they were so conservative. Like, oh, I can't believe she sued somebody, she's going to be trouble, blah, blah, blah. But they ended up hiring me, and everything was fine. There were a lot of things that they didn't tell students based on the idea that you don't need to know this. Well, maybe we do need to know it to protect ourselves. That was sort of how we got into that whole lawsuit. It can be exhausting at times having to constantly be asserting this right that you have from the First Amendment, whereas we would have had nothing, and the public would have had nothing if we hadn't pursued the issue. But you got to do it. You just have to keep doing it.